So let's talk about the agile product roadmap. This slide might not be important from exam perspective because there might not be any specific questions on this, but then this is more of an informative slide which specifically discuss that how the agile product roadmap looks and how it is different than waterfall map. So when you say waterfall roadmap, there is a fundamental difference between the agile roadmap as compared to the waterfall roadmap. So let's try to do the comparison. So a product roadmap, as we call out, is typically more of a strategic view for the product in various stages of the development. And that basically links the product to the product vision with the strategy and the overall business objective. So if we discuss and talk about the agile roadmap, it it traditionally is different than the waterfall roadmap for sure. So the waterfall roadmap, the goal of a waterfall roadmap is basically more business centric. So how we can be building or getting more revenue specifically for your business. That's the focus of a waterfall roadmap. But then in case of the agile roadmap, the focus is on the customer centricity. So how we can think of building a product which is more centered towards the customer and which is adding more value to the customer. So the goals are more customer centric. The planning horizon, as we call for the waterfall roadmap, is multiple years because there are few products which used to, or there are few projects which used to take multiple years for completion. So overall, roadmap used to last for years. But then the agile roadmap, it depends on the shorter time span, and it can be few months or few quarters. So that's how the planning horizon differs, and agile have a shorter planning roadmap. The planning cadence for waterfall roadmap is annually, and for agile roadmap is basically quarterly, which we currently see. The overall resource slash capacity planning, if you see for the waterfall roadmap, is focused primarily on the major projects, and for agile roadmap, it is focused on the small team size. So you try to define the capacity or the resources based on your team size for which you are carrying out. The overall investment in the waterfall roadmap is committed upfront. So you will commit for the resources, you will commit for capacity, everything upfront. But then in agile roadmap, it is all incremental based on the kind of increments, based on the kind of sprints you try to have the additional investment agreed upon. So hence it is incremental in nature, and in waterfall model, it is all committed upfront. In the waterfall model, specifically from the perspective of collaboration, it is more segmented. It is more of a siloed approach. But then in agile roadmap, it is more of a cross-functional team. The teams are cross-functional. They are there to collaborate. They will work out all the odds to solve those problems or issues, or they will work out on those user stories. So it's a cross-functional team and approach. For the flexibility perspective, there is a limited flexibility in the waterfall model, but then in agile roadmap, there is I'll say limitless flexibility, because the team can be cross-functional team which can be dismantled once the initiative get over. There are limited number of people, and then it is at the prerogative of product owner. Once they feel that the product has been delivered successfully, or the iteration has been delivered successfully, the team can be flexibly uh, allocated, reallocated some other tasks. So there is a wider set of flexibility. If you want to read furthermore on top of it, you can always refer to this. You can always click on this link for your reference. How do product manager build agile roadmap, which is the latest uh, uh, document which you can refer it across. So this elements of product roadmap is a important slide, I can say. So we should be at least remembering these elements. There can be a direct question being asked as well on that. So the elements of product roadmap are following, and there are variety of formats as we call for capturing the product roadmap. Each of these elements, as we call, are the basic elements. They typically should include these following parts. So your product roadmap, they should have the timelines. Obviously, you should have a timeline for when the product will be delivered. What are the milestones for it? Then there should be goals for it. There should be themes or epics defined for it. There has to be the typical elements of key features and functionality which your product roadmap is trying to accomplish. The priorities has to be defined for the product roadmap, and then what are the kind of matrices you want to build around your product roadmap. So these are the key elements of the product roadmap when you try to work it out, and you can always refer in detail about this by clicking on this hyperlink or URL. In exam, there will not be any detailed question, so you should be thorough that what are the basic elements of product roadmap, and how these elements are being worked upon. So these elements are the generic elements of timeline, the kinds of goal, the kinds of themes or epics, or the key features, priorities, or matrices. So these can be the straightforward question which can be there in exam.